Hey guys, I'm Emiline, aka Winter Star Cosplay, and I recently got into the Dream SMP fandom, so naturally I felt like I had to cosplay from it. I made a dream cosplay first, and after that I decided that I wanted to do more, and because I love stressing myself out, I had this really great, fabulous idea. I decided to see how many Dream SMP cosplays I could make in 1 week, meaning finding the stuff for, making all the costume parts, putting on the cosplay, and taking pictures of it, all of that for every costume I could in just 1 week. It sounded like a fun, if slightly stressful and challenging challenge, and spoiler alert, it was. I first looked at all the characters in the Dream SMP and made a list of which ones I thought I would be able to cosplay. I took into account how complicated their costumes were, what costume pieces, wigs, and other clothing items I already had, and just what characters I liked. In the end, I ended up with a long list of characters that I thought I might be able to pull off. Then, for each one, I made a full list of what I would need for that particular character. Whether it was wigs, different makeup things I might need to get, their actual costume, any other details, and just anything that I would need in order to make that cosplay. All of the lists for the different characters ended up being pretty long, with some a little bit longer than others, but by the time Monday rolled around, I had a full list and knew everything that I needed to get for every cosplay. Since I was going to be doing this on such a tight schedule, I needed to be pretty organized. The first cosplay that I made was for Wilbur Soot. I thrifted most of his costume, using things I already had as well. His outfit was actually pretty easy to put together.
And here is how the final cosplay turned out. I'm actually really happy with how it looks.
The next cosplay that I did was for Revival Burr, which only had a few other costume pieces, most of which I thrifted or got for free from some neighbors, actually. The bandage on his arm I made out of some cheap athletic bandage from Dollar Tree that I painted with some red acrylic paint. The stick of dynamite that I made was out of a random cardboard tube, some painter's tape, and a random piece of string that I had from a different costume. After putting it all together, I painted it with some acrylic paint, and it was done. A super quick, easy prop. For the white streak in Revival Burr's hair, I bought a really cheap white blonde wig at a thrift store, then cut off part of it, hot glued the ends together at the top, then just added it underneath the brown wig that I used. And then that second cosplay was also done. The third version of Wilbur I cosplayed was Ghost Burr, which was just a mix of the other costume pieces I used for his other versions of his character, and then some blue and gray makeup. It was super easy to put together, and I actually like how it turned out. All three of these first costumes I finished and shot on Wednesday. On Sunday, I had planned everything out and decided everything that I needed to make and get. On Monday, I had made a lot of different costume pieces. On Tuesday, I went thrifting and shopping at other stores to find everything that I needed, and Wednesday was the first day that I actually finished and shot costumes. The next cosplay that I made was George Not Found, who was super easy to make. I bought some white sunglasses, sanded the logo off of them, and then made some quick silver jewelry. For the shirt, I thrifted a blue t-shirt, then used white craft foam to make the symbol in the middle, adding a red border with a marker. I then attached it to the shirt with hot glue. It may have been a pretty simple cosplay, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's a great last-minute Halloween costume as well.
And here is the finished costume, which I just shot pictures of in my bedroom with some studio lights.
Next was Tommy in It, who was also a lot of fun to put together. Most of it was thrifted, though I'd originally made the black shoulder armor for Dream. I also made a pattern for that shoulder armor, which is now available in my Etsy shop, which I will have linked below. Coincidentally, the blonde wig I used for Tommy in It was also originally for Dream. I had made the two discs a while ago, and they made a nice addition to the photo shoot. It was another really quick and easy cosplay to put together.
Here are some photos of the finished costume, which I just shot in my bedroom.
The next cosplay that I did was Sapnap. Most of his costume was thrifted, though some of the jewelry I already had or made. The bandana was some white athletic bandage that I'd gotten for Revival Burr. The fire symbol on the shirt was made the same way as George's symbol, white craft foam that I cut out, colored with markers, and hot glued to a thrifted t-shirt. The makeup that I did for this cosplay was also a lot of fun to do, kind of making it more dramatic and just a little bit goth.
And here is the finished cosplay. I'm actually really happy with how it turned out.
George, Tommy's, and Sapnap's cosplays were all finished and shot on Thursday. Something that I did to make it a little bit easier for myself trying to finish and shoot so many cosplays on such a short time frame was to look at what characters had similar looks or makeup and then schedule those characters and cosplays to be shot on the same day. That way I only had to do the base makeup like foundation and concealer once per day, and then I could just take off and adjust some of the makeup after each photo shoot, changing it up for each character. It made the whole process a lot easier and helped everything go more smoothly. Since I timed it to take pictures of and shoot cosplays with same or similar makeup all on the same day, Friday was the day that I shot all the characters with more animal-like makeup, the first of which was Schlatt. Almost all of his outfit was thrifted, which was fortunate because I would need a lot of those costume pieces for another Dream SMP cosplay, which is at the end of this video. The ears I made from scratch, and I had actually made them a week or so before. The horns I started a while ago as well, but I hadn't gotten very far until I actually started this week of making Dream SMP cosplays. I patterned them using aluminum foil, then built the base out of 2mm EVA foam and covered them with foam clay and acrylic paint to add all the details. They're held on with an elastic band that goes over my wig. The deer/ram/sheep makeup that I did for Schlatt was a lot of fun, and I already knew kind of how to do it from my faun cosplay I'd done a few weeks earlier. The next cosplay I did after Schlatt was Fundy, who I actually know pretty much nothing about, but he looks fun to dress up as. I thrifted the black coat I used as a base, then hot glued on golden details and craft foam to make it look more like his Minecraft skin. The fox ears I made the same way as I made my Schlatt ears, which I have a tutorial for linked below, and the wig was originally from my Scarlet Witch cosplay. The makeup for Fundy was just adjusted from what I'd done for Schlatt. Overall, Fundy was another pretty easy cosplay, and I'm happy with how it turned out. The third cosplay that I finished and shot on Friday was Tubbo. I really wanted to do some fancy scar makeup from where he got, spoiler alert, blown up by fireworks, but I didn't have any liquid latex and the thought of trying to use it made me kind of nervous, so I used white school glue and toilet paper instead. I then just layered a lot of contour and eyeshadow over it to get a nice scar effect, and I think it turned out pretty well, especially for my first try doing anything that was even remotely SFX makeup. For the rest of his costume, the horns were made out of foam clay and then attached to the wig with bobby pins, and the ears were just reused from Schlatt. The actual clothes were thrifted or things I already had, and the two pins, Snow Chester and the nuclear symbol, were just paper that I colored with markers, attached to EVA foam, and hot glued onto some safety pins. By this point, I was getting just a little bit exhausted, having finished and shot 3 cosplays a day for the past 3 days, but I had no time to get exhausted. I was too busy. I was pretty much con-crunching like 10 different cosplays in a single week. It was a little bit stressful and it was kind of hard, but it was super fun and I had a really good time doing it. I definitely would do this again. If I did do this again, whether with Dream SMP or some other fandom, what kind of cosplays would you like to see from me? Let me know in the comments. Alright, so moving on. At this point I was on Saturday, the last day, and I still had to finish and shoot 2 more cosplays. The first of those was Phil the Minecraft. Some of his outfit I already had, and some I thrifted. I restyled my blonde dream wig for him, and I made a stripy hat out of craft foam and acrylic paint. Philza was a really easy cosplay to put together, and I shot him on early Saturday afternoon. The final cosplay that I did for my week of Dream SMP cosplays was Ranbu. I really wanted to cosplay him at the beginning of the week, but I'd never done full face paint before, so I was a little bit nervous about how it would turn out. The actual outfit was just the same suit and tie I used for Schlatt, and the crown I threw together really quick that morning is just made out of craft foam with some paint and then gemstones and ribbon on top. The wig I had bought for really cheap at Spirit Halloween, just a plain white one, and I spent several hours coloring it with black markers. It ended up with more of a patchy look than it would have if I'd bought one half black and half white already, and I kind of liked it that way. The hardest part of this cosplay was definitely the makeup. I had bought some really cheap Halloween face paint, and I spent like 2 hours that afternoon doing all of the makeup. With that face paint, a lot of eyeshadow, and some makeup color sticks. I ended up wearing it that night for some Halloween stuff since it's what I had on, and I think I made a lot of small children slightly nervous. But hey, what can you do? And there you have it, my week of Dream SMP cosplays. In 1 week, I ended up planning, making, and shooting 11 different Dream SMP cosplays. It was super busy and a little bit stressful, but I really enjoyed the challenge and I had a great time doing it. I would definitely do something like this again. If you do want to see me do something like this again, tell me in the comments what cosplays you'd like to see from me. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.